Hello, teacher. This is grade 7 mathematics lesson brought to you by Addis Ababa City Administration Education Bureau in collaboration with Addis Media Network. And I am Zuna Makonnen. Today's lesson is Unit 7. Unit 7, Data Handling. And today's lesson topic is organization of data, data using frequency table. Students, at the end of this lesson, you are expected to collect simple data from your environment and just organize this data in frequency table. So, now let's continue to the lesson. First, let's see some terminologies. The first terminology is this: data. What's data? Data is simply a collection of facts. It is collection of facts. It's a collection of numbers, measurements, description of things and so on. Description of things. Okay, now how do we collect data? What are the ways of collecting data? Now let's see that. Ways of collecting data. Ways of collecting data. Okay, we can collect data by simply taking a questionnaire. Using questionnaire, we can collect data. Using questionnaire, we can collect data. Not only questionnaire, using interview. By interview, we can collect data. By conducting experiment, we can collect data. By conducting experiment. And we can also collect data from records. We can collect data from records. And again, even we can collect data from internet. We can just collect data from internet source. So we can collect data from internet. So these are some of ways of collecting data. Now, we'll proceed to how do we present data, way of presenting data. Let's see how we present data, ways of presenting data. Ways of presenting data. Okay. We can present data using frequency table. We can present data using frequency table we can present data using tally marks, and we can present data using various graphs, we can present data using graphs. We have different types of graphs like line graph and pie chart and so on, but in this section, in this grade level, we'll see these two ways of presenting data, line graph and pie charts. Okay, now here, let's see some terminology here. What does frequency means? Frequency, this most of the time we use the symbol F for frequency. Its meaning, frequency means the number of times the given data happens. So frequency, this is the number of times a given data happened, a given value happens. This is frequency. Now here, tally marks are marks used to count the data in simpler form. We use tally marks in this form. Here, to count the given data, we use these tally marks. Most of the time, tally marks are arranged in 5 or in a group of 5 so that the counting of data becomes easier. So here, this tally mark, for example, contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tallies. So using these tally markers, we can count the number of a given data. Now let's see example for this one. Example. The following data represents the weights of 25 students in a class. Here 40, 45, 41, 43, 40, 42, 40, 43 in kg, 43, 45, 41, 41, 45, 40, 41, 40, 42, 45, 44, 41, 42, 40, 41, 42, 43, 45. Okay, this data set is the weight of 25 students in kilogram. So arrange this data in frequency table using tally marks. So the question is, present the above data, present the above data using frequency table, or tally marks. So this is it. Now, let's see how we present this data using tally marks. Okay, look, here we have the weights. So just we put weights here. And again, we put tally marks here. And in the next part, we will put the frequency, the number of times a given data happens. So here we have weights from 40 to 45. So let's just put these weights in order. Weight or mass. It's better to say it's weight or mass. It's mass in kg. So here, let me say this one, weights or mass. The mass. So just leave this one. It's the mass of the students. Here also the mass in kg. Okay, so the mass given here from 40, 41, 42, 43, and 45. These are the masses of the students in kg. So we'll count how many times 40 happens, and 41, 42, 43, and 45. Okay, 44, 43, 44, and 45. Okay, so let's count. Let's put the tally marks. Okay, now let's count 40 using tally mark. So 40, we have 1, 2, let's just put 1. Here we have another 40. On this column and we have another 40. Here we have two 40s here. So to make counting simple, let's just arrange in 5. So the next part, this do not have 40. Here we have 40. So the number of students whose weight or whose mass 40 kg is this 5 plus 1, it is 6. So 40 happens 6 times. That's the frequency. Okay, now next, let's see 41. Let's count 41 using tally marks. Okay, here we have 41, 1 in this column, and we have another 41. Here we have two 41. So, okay, here we have 41. So let's first put another tally mark so that the counting simple, make it in group of 5. Okay, on the next part here in this column we have another one. So when you count the number of students whose weight 40, whose mass 41 kg is this 5 plus 1, again it is 6. Now let's continue to 42. Let's count 42. Here we don't have 42. Here we have 1. Okay, let's continue. 42, there is no 42 here. Here we have 1, 42. Okay, here we have another 42. Therefore, we have 3 42s. So 42 kg happens 3 times. Its frequency is 3. Now, let's proceed to 43. 43 in this column, we have 1. Here we have, okay, and 43, there is no 43 here. 43, there is 43 here. So we have 3. 42, the occurrence of 42 in this data set. 42, there is no 42 here. We have 42 on this column once. and there is no 42 here, but 42 happens twice on this column, so 2 tally marks. Or the fifth column, there is another 42, therefore this is not 3, 42 happens 4 times, so the frequency is 4. Let's count 43, the occurrence of 43. 43 in this column, it occurs once. 43 occurs here once. There is no 43 here. There is no 43 here. 43, it occurs once, so 43 in total happens 3 times. Therefore, the frequency of 43 is 3. Now let's proceed to 44. Okay, 44, there is no 44 here. Again, there is no 44. Okay, there is no 44 here. We have 44, 144 in this column, and there is no 44. So 44 happens once, therefore its frequency is 1. Now let's proceed to 45. 45 in this column, and 45 happens once. Here, there is 145 here. So again, let me put another tally mark here. There is also another 45 in third column, and in third column there is 145 here. So let's put one tally. There is 145 in the fifth column. Therefore, we have 545. So this is how we represent a given data set using tally marks. That's it. So now we'll proceed to the next section. The next section is presenting a given data using line graph. Line graph. Line graph. Now, let's see how we represent a given data using line graph. So, example. So, here, example. The following data represents the highest temperature, of Addis Ababa city for the first 6 months, for the first 6 months of 2017 Ethiopian calendar. Okay, here months and temperature in degree centigrade. In degree centigrade is given. September, October, November, December, January, and February. Temperature, okay, so the temperature in degree Celsius for the first 6 months of 2017 of Addis Ababa city. The temperature is given to be here. For September, the temperature is 24 degrees Celsius, and October 23, and November 26, December 25, again January 25, February also, February 27. So represent this data set using a line graph. So represent the above data, using a line graph. Okay, now how do we represent this data set using line graph? To represent this data set using line graph, we need two axes, horizontal and vertical axis. So the horizontal axis is used to represent the data, the quantity being measured, and the measured quantity will be just placed on the vertical axis using a scale. Therefore, here let's put the scale and try to draw the graph. So here, let's put the quantity we measured here. We are measuring the temperature of different months. So I'll put the months here on horizontal axis, months. So the first month here is September. And then next, there is October. We scale October. And the third month is this November, December, January, and so we'll put the months here, and the quantities, the measured quantities on this vertical axis, the temperature will be put here. So here on this axis, the temperature. So I have to scale this part so that I'll put these numbers, or the scale must contain these numbers. So here, let me use scale of, maybe let's use scale of 10. Let's use scale of 10. If you use this to be 10, so this distance represents 10. So you move equal distance. So this one is 10. So this will be 20. This will be 20. And you move the same distance here. So this part becomes 30. Again, 40. So this is a scale. Now, using this scale, we can now represent this data set on line graph. So here, okay. So here, the temperature of September is this 24. So I have to just simply scale 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So using this scale, I can put the temperature. The temperature on September is this 24, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is here. Therefore, the temperature on September is 24. I'll put this as a point. Next, October, the temperature of October is simply 23. So 23 is here. Okay, so 23, I'll put here. Now, next November, the temperature of November is 26. Therefore, 24, 25, 26 is here. This will be the temperature of November. Now, next to that, December is 25. So 25 is here. 24 is this one. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 is here. So 25. The temperature of December is this here. Now temperature of January, again it is 25 same temperature. So next temperature of February is 27. So here this one is 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 is around here. Therefore, so now we'll just sketch the graph by connecting. We'll just draw a smooth line by connecting the points here so that the graph becomes the line graph. So connecting this point, connect this one, and then this, and then this. So this will be the line graph of this given data set. So next to this, we'll see another example. Example 2. Example 2. The following line graph shows. The following line graph shows the number of students in a school in various age group. Various age group. So here the graph is given. This age group is on this age group, and here on a vertical axis the number of students. Okay, here we have age group 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. We have these age groups. And here the number of students. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. Okay, here the graph. Okay, this is a line graph. Okay, this line graph is given, which shows the age group of students and the number of students in a given school. So from this from this graph, so answer the following questions. 1. Which age group has number of students? Which age group has greatest number of students? So here, let's see this answer, this question together. We are asked to find the age group having greatest number of students. Look, here, age group 13, the number of students whose age 13 is 60. We have 60 students whose age is 13. From this graph, you can see this. And let's just read each first. And the number of students whose age 14 is 14 represents this point is between 30 and 40, so this point is 35. Therefore, the number of students whose age 14 is 35. And again, if you see this one, the number of students whose age 15 is simply move upward. So we have 50 students. The number of students whose age group 15 is 50. Again here, the number of students whose age group 16 is 20. And here you have the number of students whose age group 17 is 30. And again here, the number of students whose age group 18 is 10. Therefore, from this line graph, we can answer this question. So the first question is, which age group has the greatest number of students? From this, you can see that this is the greatest or the highest in number. So this point represents age group 13. So age group 13 has the greatest number of students. So the answer will be age group 13 has the highest or the greatest number of students. Now, let's see the second question. This is for you. Try this one. Which age group has smallest number of students or last number of students? Last number of students. So from these age groups, which age group has the lowest number of students? So please try to answer this question. I'll give you 20 seconds for this. Students, have you tried the answer? Good. Now, let's see the answer together. So here the question is, which age group has the lowest number of students? Here we have different age groups. From this, which one is the lowest from the graph? This highest point, the lowest point is this one. So age group 18 has the smallest number. Therefore, the age group which has the lowest number of students is age group 18. Age group 18 has lowest number of students. Okay, now let's just add another question here. Okay, what's the number of students whose age group is 16? What is the number of students which age group is 16? Please try this question. I'll give you 10 seconds for this. Students, have you tried the question? Good. Now let's see the answer. It says, what's the number of students whose age group is 16? age group 16 is here, the number at this point. Just move on a vertical axis, you will have 20. Therefore, the number of students whose age group 16 is, it is 20. The answer will be, it is 20 students. 20 students. Okay, now let's add one more question. Represent this line graph using a frequency distribution table. So represent the data using table. Represent the data using frequency table. Now here, let's see the answer together. Here we have age group, and here we have frequency or number of students. Okay, let's start from age group 13. Age group 13. How many students are there in age group 13? You move on the line graph. You just stop here and move horizontally. You will have 60. So the number of students whose age group 13 is 16. Now let's proceed to this one, 14. The number of students whose age group 14 is this point. You move to left, you have 35. Between 30 and 40, 35. Okay, the number of students whose age group 15. Age group 15, just move up, stop on the line graph and move to horizontal, 50. Therefore, the number of students which age group 15 is 50. Okay, now next, age group 16. The number of students whose age group 16 is 20. And finally, the number of students whose age group 17, just move to the line graph, just horizontally, you have 30. And the number of students whose age group 18, just move up and you have 10. So this will be a tabular representation of this line graph. That's it. So this is all about today's lesson. I'll give you questions for you to try it at home. Exercise. Okay, first one. Represent the following data set using frequency table. 20, 25, 26, 24, 21, 22, 23, 24, 20, 23, 25, 26, 22, 21, 20, 23, 21, 20, 25. Okay, second question. The following table shows The following table shows the distance traveled by certain body with respect to time. With respect to time. Here, distance traveled in meter and time in second is given. So the distance traveled here 204, 300 in 6 second, 400 in 8 second, and 500 in 10 second. This table, distance traveled with time is given. So here sketch line graph for the given data. Please students, copy the question. I'll give you 1 minute to copy the question. Students, have you copied the question? Good. Please try it in your home. This is all about today's lesson. Until next lesson, goodbye.
In the 12-inch class, Primo, the Papillon, handled by Sarah Rutland of Delaware, Ohio.